Good evening, everyone. Today, I am going to present my AAT Tech Talk video. Before going to that, I am Karthik from EEE department. I am presenting the subject English, and the topic is the stages of listening process. Before going to that, I will tell one motivation about the listening. Before going to the listening process, I will say a motivation. Right. Today's topic, stages of listening process. Motivation. This is the motivation I want to tell before the listening process will start. Concentrate on what is going in your classroom, not in your daydream. This is the motivation I want to tell you guys before going to the topic. There are 5 stages of listening process. Stage 1 is the receiving. Stage 2 is the understanding. Stage 3 is the remembering. Stage 4, evaluating. Stage 5, feedback. These are the 5 stages in listening process. These 5 stages are very, very important in listening process. If these stages are not there, listening process cannot be done. We'll go in detail from stage 1, receiving. We go in detail about the receiving process. Receiving. It refers to the response caused by sound waves stimulating the sensory receptors of the ear. It is the physical response. Receiving is the intentional focus on hearing a speaker's message. Which happens when we filter out other sources so that we can isolate the message and avoid the confusion mixture of incoming stimuli. At this stage, we are only hearing the message. Hearing the message is different. Listening the message is different. Hearing is an involuntary action and the listening is an voluntary action. Sorry. This is the second stage of listening process, understanding. It is the stage at which you learn what the speaker means. That is, the thoughts and the emotional tone of the speaker's message. In the understanding stage, we attempt to learn the meaning of the message. The meaning of the message, which is not always easy. For one thing, if a speaker does not enunciate clearly, it may be difficult to tell what the message was. This is the important stage in the listening process. And the third stage in the listening process is remembering. It is the very important stage in listening process. Remembering is important to process of listening because it means that an individual has not only received and interrupted a message but also but has also added it to the mind storage. He has to receive the message, understand the message, and he has to remember the message. This is the important stage in the process of listening. Remembering begins with listening. If you can't remember something that was said, you might not have been listening effectively. This is slow, clear line. The next stage of the listening process is evaluating. This is the fourth stage in the listening process. The fourth stage in the listening process is evaluating. It is nothing but the judging the value of the message, evaluating the message of the speaker's message. We might be thinking this makes sense, or conversely, this is very odd because everyone embodies biases and perspectives learned from widely diverse sets of life experiences. Evaluations of the same message can vary widely from one listener to another listener. Even the most open-minded listeners will have opinions of the speaker, and those opinions will influence how the message is evaluated. This is the process in evaluating. And the next stage of the listening process is the feedback. Feedback is the last stage and final stage of listening process. Feedback generally comes from the receiver to receiver will tell the feedback how the sender interrupts his message. Feedback is also known as responding. Sometimes it is called as responding. It is the fifth and final stage of listening process. It is the stage at which you indicate your involvement. Almost anything you do at this stage can be interpreted as feedback. Feedback is most important in listening process. To understand the words of the speaker, if you understand the words of the speaker and you can remember, you can give a feedback to the sender. For example, we should take one example. You are giving positive feedback. If you are giving positive feedback to an instructor, if at the end of your class you stay behind to finish a sentence in your notes or approach the instructor to ask for clarification. This is the process in feedback. Feedback is very important for the center to know how his message was interrupted and received by the receivers or the audience, whoever it may be. So these are the 5 stages. The first stage is receiving. Second one is the remembering. Second one is the understanding. Third one is the remembering. Fourth is the evaluating. And the last final stage is feedback. These are the 5 stages should be more important in the process of listening. So thank you everyone. Thank you for listening.